What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, hope you all are doing well. Your guys, Cody and Derek, here back for another episode. And in this episode, guys, we are going to be talking about what we call secret superstars. So if anybody's like, okay, what does that mean? I think we've kind of come to the conclusion that when we talk about guys that are secret superstars, I feel like, Derek, there's guys that have played well in spurts, right? That have shown a lot of potential to be really, really good, potentially elite players. That now they're going to get an opportunity, and we really feel like these guys, maybe all these guys, actually could develop into Pro Bowl, All Pro kind of players based off of where they are right now. Now there are obviously some contingents staying healthy and things of that nature. That's the biggest one, but let's get into it. It's kind of talk about it. We have, I believe, 5 guys that we are going to mention here today. We always start with the offense. Let's start with the defense here today. Let's start all the way back in the defensive backfield. Let's talk about 2 guys that we want to talk about here in the defensive backfield. The first guy being Isaiah Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, Isaiah Rodgers, what can you say about a guy like Isaiah Rodgers? Really came into the scene after being drafted in the 6th round, really was more of a special teams guy his rookie year, and then got to have some chances at playing defensive back later in that year. And we all remember the Buffalo game, saw that he shut down Stephon Diggs for a good portion of that. And then, this last year, was really the cornerback 2 when it came to the rest of the season. But at the end of the day, you would have thought he was cornerback 1. The way this guy was playing, especially in man-to-man coverage, Isaiah Rodgers is just a phenomenal athlete, tracks the ball really well. And I mean, what we're seeing in this is everybody kind of already knows Isaiah Rodgers, and most Colts fans predict to have, him maybe even go higher than what he already is. And that's what you and I are thinking, is that Isaiah Rodgers, if this guy taps into, what Mike Mitchell and some of these other guys are about to start teaching him, then this guy could be a legitimate top 20 cornerback in the league without a question, because of the speed that this guy is able to beat you with. There's not a receiver in the NFL that can burn this guy and stay up with it on that pace because of how fast he is. And if he's learning from Stephon Gilmore and he's learning from Mike Mitchell, who's been there and done that, guys like that are going to help him to develop his game, Isaiah Rodgers can go from a really good player to an elite player just after this season.
And he's got a tremendous opportunity this year because Rocky Sin obviously now in Vegas. So he's got a great opportunity to be cornerback number 2 on the outside for the Colts, because I really felt like he took a massive leap last year. And he wasn't even the full-time starter. Now Xavier Rhodes is also not coming back to the Colts. So it opens up a great opportunity. Obviously, he's going to have to earn it. He's going to compete with Brandon Faison for that cornerback number 2 outside corner position. But I really think he's going to win that, and I think he has a chance to really ascend even further here in year number 3 for him. So that's the first guy. Second guy we got to talk about is Julian Blackmon. We have to talk about him. He was hurt most of last year, obviously had that major injury right at the beginning of the season, and the Colts really missed out on year 2 of Blackmon being in their system. But now he gets an opportunity coming back fully healthy, and a lot of people have seemed to forget how great Julian Blackmon was given the circumstances his rookie season. Coming in not fully healthy the entire season and making the kind of impact that he did. I mean, that was absolutely unheard of. He was honestly, if Chase Young didn't have that tremendous rookie season, I really think that Julian Blackmon might have won Defensive Rookie of the Year that year. That's how impactful he was. And if he would have been fully healthy, I really think he would have taken it away or really come close and gave Chase Young a run for his money. But all that to say, Julian Blackmon now has a chance in year number 3. If he can stay healthy, that's the big if. If he can stay healthy and be fully recovered from that major injury, I think the sky's the limit for a guy like Julian Blackmon, because he is a turnover machine.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's where the secret superstar aspect comes into play. Some people have forgotten just how good Julian Blackmon actually was his first year when he wasn't fully healthy and wasn't in great football shape at that time. And that was how good he was when he wasn't even 100%. And what you think now for him being 100% now and what he could provide for you potentially, I mean, again, just another young stud that really could provide you an amazing step up with this secondary. He was already really good. His rookie year had 3 turnovers that were game winning. So you understand that this guy not only plays well, but he plays well when the game is on the line, right? I mean, intercepted Joe Burrow, intercepted Nick Foles in that Chicago game. Wonder if he's cracked a joke with Nick Foles about that yet. Has had a few more great plays as well. I
The
mean,
Green Bay game.
yeah,
I can't forget that one.
yep, can't forget that one. Yeah, Green Bay game. Just being able to make those big plays in the big moments. I mean, that's what everyone in sports media wants from people nowadays, right? It's not good enough to just be good nowadays. You have to be good when the game is on the line. That's how you stand out. And if Julian Blackmon can keep doing what he's did from his rookie season, we got a secret superstar on our hands.
Yeah, I really believe so. With the new system, I also think it's going to do him well because you think the pass rush is going to get better. It's only going to help guys like Julian Blackmon in that backfield. So really exciting to see him here. If he can stay healthy here in year 3, I think he has a great opportunity. We were tempted to put Nick Cross on this list, but I think just for the simple fact that he's still a rookie, I don't think he quite makes the list. Now he could have a major impact, and I could be completely eating my words in a couple months here. But as it stands right now, I think he's just going to be an honorable mention. But he very easily could make this list because the sky's the limit for him. We just haven't seen him at the NFL level yet, so it's hard to say he's a superstar yet, right? But very, very obviously could very quickly. So we'll keep an eye on him. Let's continue, though, into some other guys that we're going to talk about. We got to stay on the defensive side here, and we have to talk about DaWan Dangbo. Nobody's talking about DaWan Dangbo, and I think it's absolute insanity because this dude is a freak, absolute freak on that defensive line, longer than DeForest Buckner, wasn't fully healthy last year, in a new system that really helps the defensive linemen. I think DaWan Dangbo could potentially be an X factor. I really do. He is that like talented. I really believe that. So give me your thoughts on DaWan Dangbo. I know he was the first guy you named when we talked about secret superstars. So let me know your thoughts on Dio.
I love the X factor put in there. I love that. I mean, really, nobody is talking about Dio because we've been talking about Yannick Ngakoue. Of course, you'd talk about him. Yannick is a fringe superstar defensive end. He's been there, done that for a long time. You talk about DeForest Buckner and what he is for the team. And then you talk about Kwity Paye, who we saw kind of break in at the end of last season. You're talking about, how good he can be on the opposite end with Yannick now taking some of the pressure away from him. But now what you're not hearing enough is how good DaWan Dangbo really can be. The potential is through the roof with this guy. This guy was a first-round draft pick if it not had been for that ACL tear that he had from the get-go. So you have to know just how high the Colts were on him, and even coming back and still trying to do something. Obviously, didn't have the full offseason, wasn't healthy, wasn't in great football shape. So it really didn't go out the way he wanted. But this time around, he's going to now be able to do things the way he wants to do it, fully healthy, ready to go. This guy, Cody, I'm calling it right here, right now. By the end of this season, this guy's going to be our third down defensive tackle. Our third down defensive tackle on the opposite end with DeForest Buckner. I promise you, he will be in there on third downs, every third down, making his presence known on that pass rush. I guarantee it.
Yeah. That's got to be scary for some offenses, man, when Dio gets going, because you have 2 extremely talented and 2 extremely long guys at defensive line, defensive
6'6", 6'7", bro. It doesn't get much scarier than that.
Long wingspans. I mean, my goodness.
Longest wingspan
that's
for an edge guy to ever come into the draft, by the way.
That's a nightmare. And then you have Kwity Paye, who we all think is going to make a big jump this year. You have Yannick, obviously, a 10-sack guy a year ago. I mean, this could be, honestly, and we said it last year, and unfortunately it didn't really happen because, of a couple different situations, but it could honestly be one of the scariest front fours when it comes to getting after the passer. I really believe it. And added on with the new scheme, that automatically, I think, makes your pass rush better based off of the history of Gus Bradley's defenses. I mean, I think this could be a match made in heaven for this Colts defense. I really believe their sack total is going to go up tremendously.
Is it
Certainly their
possible?
pressure total
I mean,
is
is
going
it
to go up tremendously.
possible that this could be the best front four that the Indianapolis Colts have had in over a decade?
I really think it's a
It's got the
possibility,
potential
honestly.
for it.
Now, that's not saying much because we really haven't had a whole lot to speak of. But yeah, I mean, I certainly think at its best, this could honestly be one of the best front four units in the NFL. I really believe that, and it should be because the Colts have invested a ton of capital into this defensive line room. So really excited to see that, and really excited to even to see if Dio starts coming on, how does that help other guys like DeForest Buckner get more
Yes.
one-on-one opportunities? Everybody benefits from that. So I'm really
Mhm.
excited to see DaWan Dangbo here in year number 2, fully healthy, kind of like a Julian Blackmon, now that he's fully back. I really want to see what he can provide. I really think it's going to be a lot. So really looking forward to that. All right. A couple guys here on the offense. Since we talked about the defensive line last, I figure we'll go to the offensive line and talk about right guard Danny Pinter, who I thought was absolutely phenomenal last year at center when he filled in for Ryan Kelly in that stretch. And now he's going to go over to right guard. Obviously, still going to be your backup center. But Danny Pinter, in my mind, Derek, I think this is the easiest guy that I could say he could be one of the best guards in football. I mean, really, really soon. I really believe that. He may not be the most physical, mauler, Quentin Nelson kind of guard, but I really think that from an athletic standpoint and what we saw from him last year playing at center, I think Danny Pinter has a chance here to really develop into a really quality Pro Bowl caliber kind of guard. I really believe he can.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've seen what he's been as a backup. You see what he's done as a backup now with doing the great things that he has, and now he's getting a chance to be a bona fide starter and get those reps, all those reps that he normally probably wouldn't get from before. He was taking on guys that were better than him, but yet he was still able to get the best of them when he wasn't the main guy. Now he is going to be the main guy. And I wonder how much more that extra coaching, that extra experience, learning how to balance these big guys up front is going to help him. He was already probably the best backup guy that we had on all of our offensive line the last few seasons that we've had him. And like you said, he fits perfectly into the way the Colts want to use their offensive line, right? They love zone run block scheming. And that's exactly what you get a guy like in Danny Pinter, who is an athletic guy that can move. That's a great thing for him. So Danny Pinter's going into a great situation. He's going to be right next to Ryan Kelly and Braden Smith. He's going to get all that extra time and effort from the coaching and getting more chances to learn from the best. And that's the great thing for him, because if he's already this good from what he has been, and he's only been a backup at this point, can only imagine how much better he can get with more real game time experience.
Very excited to see what he does here, now getting a full-time role, like you mentioned. All right, the last guy, probably going to be controversial. I wouldn't be shocked. We debated a couple guys. We debated Alec Pierce potentially, but kind of the same argument with the rookies. We just slightly keeps him off the list. But I think we have to talk about Paris Campbell because when he's healthy, which is a big if, but when he is healthy, he is effective. Guys, he is effective. He changes this Colts offense. He changes the way that they want to do things. We have to talk about him. We have
Yeah.
to.
I mean, the literal definition of a superstar, you can't ignore a superstar. A superstar changes the way the teams look at players. Changes the way they look at a team and how they devise their game plan. And Paris Campbell can be one of those guys when he is healthy. He makes plays down the field. He makes those runs that, keep you on your toes, the sweeps. The drag routes, him getting the ball in his hands is so scary. Nobody wants to try and track down a guy that can run a 4.32 40 in any given moment. Nobody wants to have the ball in that guy's hands out in the open field, because that guy's going to make a lot of people miss. So again, we've said it before and we're going to say it again. The injury aspect of this is what has kept him back for so long. But what you're stating is that if this guy remains healthy, what is his impact on the field? In the very minimal time we have seen from him, he has been very impactful in the times that he has been on the field. And that is another thing with the secret superstar, because most people are discounting him. Most people are counting him out at this point. So that's the point of being a secret superstar. You never know when it comes to Paris Campbell, but you really hope he stays healthy because if he is, this offense is going to be elite.
Yeah, yeah. I was tempted to throw Naheem Hines on this list as well, but I think he's already shown us that he's a
Yeah.
superstar when
He
he gets the
already has
ball.
shown
So
he can be an elite out of the backfield running back when he
he has
wants to
been.
be, when they get him
Yeah.
involved.
When they give him the ball. And that's just been the issue. It hasn't really been Hines hasn't gotten, not that Hines hasn't broken out. He just hasn't gotten the opportunity last season. So we think he's going to do that again. We think he's going to have a great season, but that's the reasoning why we didn't put him on the list as well. But guys, that'll do it for our look at 5 potential superstars of secret guys that we think that could potentially be superstars. Maybe a lot of people aren't really thinking about them as guys that could be superstars. Let us know in the comments what you think about our 5 choices. Are there other guys that you would potentially put on this list as well? Let us know that, all these things in the comments below. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for all your support. If you're still hanging out with us, be sure to do all the things, like, subscribe. If you're all listening, if you're listening to this podcast, in the audio form, be sure to, leave us a good review, all that good stuff. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, go Colts.